Hey folks, welcome back to the channel again. If it's your first time here, then welcome to the channel, and we're going to take a look today at a figure that it's of a character I really love. I love Shockwave. He's great. He's always been so engaging to me. But this is an example of a toy that starts out really strong and goes downhill real fast. Stick around and I'll explain what I mean by that when we look at this guy, which is the Transformers Prime Cyberverse Commander class Shockwave, in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor. Me everywhere, and spend some time on the channel. Check out my stop motion series, Universal Collision, some of the countdowns, and whatever other videos catch your interest. Okay, so where do we begin with this guy? Real strong. His paint apps, they're a 10. And I'm saying they're a 10 because we have this nice kind of metallic-y looking paint that we don't often get, and I think it looks fabulous. It is so eye-catching that you can't help but notice the guy on the shelf. Of course, that being said, I'm not a fan of these great big kind of bulbousy calves and feet. It's not for me. And I feel like his cannon arm here is way oversized, but it might be true to animation. I really can't recall now. It probably is. There is supposed to be a missile in here, and it just works on friction. This isn't mine. This belongs to the scraplets, and you would just move this back and forth in order to put the missile piece in there and to fire it. We still have it for bludgeon. Now I looked at the other use of this mold, which is in fact bludgeon, in episode 230, and this just isn't my favorite version of this character. I mean, I even like the Action Master version better, and I looked at that in episode 164 along with a few other Action Masters, and I honestly, I even like this version better. And this is the, I'm going to back this up a little bit so we can see. This is the FOC Soundwave. Now, no, he's not perfect, and it'd be nice to have a Voyager one, but I don't have a big problem with this guy. He's sort of my go-to Soundwave right now, at least until we get something maybe more in the Voyager size. And I looked at him in full way back in episode 104. But the focus right now is on this guy. And I wish I could tell you that he's good, but he's not. The thing stinks as we get deeper into him. So we're starting out strong with the 10. Let's go into the articulation. The head, that doesn't really do anything. The arm over here can go all the way around, as can his gun arm. That can also go all the way around. There is a bicep swivel. There is a fairly deep elbow. If you turn it this way, if you turn the cannon that way, it's really deep elbow. The head might move. I'm not sure now. I really don't want to mess with it. The regular arm has a nice deep elbow bend, and it has the bicep swivel. Well, it's not really a swivel, it's because it's on a ball peg, so it's kind of a false swivel. These little wing pieces on the back move. The legs can go way out to the side, so no problem there. Forward and back about that far, so not the best. Not terrible, but certainly not the best. We have a bit of a thigh swivel because of the ball joint up on the hip. We have a knee to about 90 degrees, and his toes tilt really because of transformation, but they do it. So the articulation, does he have a waist? No, he doesn't. The articulation for the size class, which is basically a legend size, it's all right. It's pretty good. I mean, a waist would have been nice, but it's not often you get it there. For the size class that it is, I'm going to even give his articulation about an 8.5. So this guy's scoring well. We got an 8.5. We have a 10. The guy is the guy's about a 9.35. It's a good version of Shockwave to this point, and then we get into the transformation, and that's where this guy, as far as I'm concerned, really starts to kind of fall to pieces, because the transformation is just, it's not that it's hard, it's just annoying and cumbersome, and just gives a idiotic looking alt mode. I don't dig anything about it. So we're gonna get into it, and you can judge for yourself. Maybe you'll love it, I don't know. So where do we begin? Well, we come to his back first, and we're going to take the treads and bring the tank treads up. We're going to come down to the bottom and put that toe forward and that toe forward. We're going to come to the back again, because we're doing all of the easy stuff first. And there's a little rectangular hole right here in his lower back pelvis section, and there's a little rectangular tab on the forearm, and we're going to bring the whole shoulder and forearm back and tab that peg into that slot. So we bring the whole arm back onto his back. We sort of bend it at the elbow, and then we, if I'm lucky, can line this up on camera. And then we sort of tab that in so that it looks like that. And I'm not even sure I have that quite in. Hold on, let me double check that. Okay, I didn't have it quite in, but I do now. It's just a little hard to see some of that stuff on camera. But this is what we have so far. All right. Okay, so where do we go next? I would suggest to you we go to the legs next. I'm going to get that up out of the way so I can sort of try and show this, because this is not in any way, shape, or form an elegant part of this transformation. You sort of need to take the hip out to the side, turn it at the swivel, which there is a swivel. I made I guess a slight mistake there. It's kind of close to the knee though. And then you sort of straighten things up. So we take the leg kind of out to the side, and then we hold onto the thigh and turn it at the swivel, which is kind of below the knee. And then we sort of bend the knee a little bit. And we do the same over here, really. And the instructions are just awful on explaining this. Awful. Truth is, I wouldn't even be able to tell you for sure and certain that what I'm doing here is exactly the correct way to do it. Because the instructions are just that terrible. But basically, in the end, we're going to get something that looks sort of like this. We want to bring the chest piece down. Now, the chest piece on theirs, on the scraplets, tends to pop off a lot. So we might have luck with this, we might not. But I'll say this. As you pull it out, there's a black armature in there and a little hole in it. And there's a little peg at the top of the chest, and it pegs into that section to sort of solidify it. So we bring that out, and here's the black armature that I was talking about. And here's the little slot. I don't know if you can see that, but there is a little slot up there. And we need to angle this and peg it in. And then we can bring that kind of all the way down there. And that's what we have. We open up the chest cavity. We open up his chest cavity. And we open up the other chest cavity. So we have his chest fully extended. We take the head and we flip that down. Now you're going to bring in the whole cannon piece and the shoulder. And you're going to basically bring the shoulder in and angle the cannon piece up. Sort of like that. There is a, and I need to kind of fix this up a little bit, there is a little rectangular peg in the cannon piece, and that goes into a little slot down sort of in the belly. So I'm going to get that positioned and then we'll continue from there. Okay, so I really wanted to kind of explain things better here because I wasn't really happy with it. You bring the shoulder piece in, and when you bring the shoulder piece in, you need to position it such that it's really kind of surrounding his head in there. It's not the easiest thing to do to line up on camera. It's not the easiest thing to do to line up, period, but especially on camera. Then we have, down in this silver section, we have a little peg hole that gray tab that I told you about goes into. So we bring the whole cannon down and it pegs into that little peg hole. We fiddle here with the legs a little bit more. We close up those chest sections that we opened earlier. We close up both of those chest sections, and in the end, you know, boom, there you go. You have Shockwave in his vehicle mode, which is a Cybertronian tank, but it's probably the worst Cybertronian tank I think I've ever seen. It rolls fine, but it just, I think it looks awful. The legs don't really tab in. They're there, but and they hold fine because of tension, I guess, but it's nothing to knock them out of position. It's not, for such a small figure, it's pretty exact. Like, you have to have that top shoulder pad in a perfect position. You have to make sure to tab in that cannon, which isn't the easiest thing to do. Tab up that chest. Get the legs in the just right position so that the bottom tires here line up with the back tires here. These just stay because of, you know, a pin here and friction. I think the transformation is a mess. You know, it's not the worst transformation I've seen, but it's certainly not the best. I'm going to score that at about a 4. It's not fun. This is not fun, especially for kids. So the 9.25 that we had, all of a sudden this guy drops down to about a 6. It's an okay Shockwave to keep in robot mode. I don't think you're going to want to fiddle with him back and forth. It's not the quick, easy transformation that a figure of this size class should probably have. And now and again, we do get a kind of a legend-sized one that just sort of reeks. And this is an example of it. Now, maybe you love it. And that is perfectly justifiable because everybody likes what they like. But I can't give this a strong recommend because I know that there are better versions of Shockwave out there. In fact, I know there's a better Legend scale version, being of course the Combiner Wars one. Anyway, overall score for this guy about a 6. That's the best I can do, folks. Let me know what you think about him, and I thank you for dropping by, giving me some of your valuable time. As always, I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together for another visit right here inside the video.